Hello and welcome to a brand new Five Heart Podcast live here on YouTube, Facebook, X, I believe. Lord only knows where else John likes to stick us. I am your host, Greg Mahachko. Speaking of guys who like to, never mind. Nope, I'm all confused. Over here's John Johnston. Hello, John. Good
Hi,
seeing you
Greg.
again. How
How
are
are you?
I'm doing. It's great to see you back in the robe. I know that's a fan favorite.
That's all I have.
God, I'm glad that that's a lie. I'm glad that there's something on underneath the robe.
No, I meant in my wardrobe. That's all that's left.
Oh, the laundry day?
No, the kids cleaned me out.
Oh, okay. I
They're
didn't
trying to
realize.
push me. They're trying to push me into assisted living already.
Oh, do you have long-term care insurance?
God, no. Do you know how much my long-term care is? I walk outdoors with not much clothing on when it's 20 below some February. That would be my long-term care.
Okay.
Do you know how much long-term care would cost me? My God.
Well, if I'm being honest, because of the dent in your head and the heart attack, you probably
You're
wouldn't
right.
qualify.
Yeah, and all the other things that have added up over the years.
I'm a third-year age and I don't qualify. So,
wow.
That's what
we should get to the other one that's in healthier state than probably both of us.
Yes, okay. Welcome back, Minnie. Thanks for continuing to put up with us.
Somebody has to do it.
God, yeah, you and our wives. I feel like that's about it. So, the comments were happening before the show began.
Nice.
Are you all aware? Were you following the comments in the waiting room? John, were you? Do you pay attention,
No.
John? Okay.
No, I see what we got going on right here. Right here. Indiana is playing Nebraska. We're ahead at half.
Yeah.
We need to protect the home court. So while you guys are probably talking, I'm going to be over here just
He's watching basketball.
Yeah. See, because nobody else is paying attention to men's basketball. I take this.
I think everybody is.
Are they?
I'm not.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was all the chatter on YouTube today. So
the chatter on YouTube.
Yes. Which is where we are. One of the places, right?
It's true.
Yes.
John, where all what all ports do you stick us on here?
What's that mean?
They say any port in a storm, but where all are you sticking us?
Well, I think we're on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Okay. I do Instagram, but it's so funky. You got to start the thing and then start the Instagram and then not close the window and do all this API key shit. You know, these services they're a pain in the ass sometimes because they constantly modify their APIs and stuff stops working and then it breaks and then people get angry that you're not doing this stuff. And, I'd love for us to be on Instagram too, because I don't know. Why not?
You used to Twitch, John, not too terribly long ago.
Did I? I did. I don't think we ever picked up more than one person off Twitch.
That's very scary. You got to really be careful about that one person that's watching you on Twitch.
Twitch has gone through some weird things lately. I try to pay attention to all the social media services and what they're doing, and Twitch is going through some weird stuff. So we'll just stay away from.
Is that code for you? You're waiting for the rules to change where you can sit there shirtless, or you're not on there anymore because you're not allowed to be shirtless?
I don't
know. We see just from here up. We don't know if it's a full shirt. It could be a dickie.
A what? It could be a what?
Are those called dickies? You know, the half shirt, the thing that you stick under when you're wearing a vest.
Cousin Eddie wore in Christmas Vacation.
Exactly. Thank you. This is our cousin Eddie.
Honestly, I haven't worn a tie in probably 20 years.
That wasn't a tie, John. All right.
Well, it's that same thing, the vest, that kind of stuff. This is it. Okay, so we should go on.
Before the show began, which started right on time, definitely not 25 seconds late. But before the show began, Aaron in the comments was saying, "I'm a few minutes early for the Fred Sacco show."
Yes.
Which got GBR Far North saying, "Oh my God, is Fred on the broadcast?"
Oh, that would be so cool.
Talk about getting your hopes up, because then Aaron says, meant the chat. It's his domain. But you never know.
He does move.
So, Josh says, "Woohoo! Let's do this." Fred is here saying, "Aaron, happy to see you." Aaron says weird things said on YouTube.
Yeah.
Fred says, "John, hopefully you're wearing something more than just your shoes under the robe."
It's cold in Minnesota. It is.
You are indoors.
It's not that cold, but
with a furnace.
it is cold. It is cold. But my wife keeps the house at 65 probably at the most.
That's unnatural, John.
Sometimes 62. Score update. Let's see. Josh Hansen asked for score update. Still halftime, 41-33 Nebraska over Indiana. This game is at PBA, so it's important Nebraska. I said this earlier. It's important Nebraska protects the home court and then, hopefully picks up a couple wins on the road somehow. Yep. That's really what you want to do in the Big Ten. I don't know if people that don't follow basketball very much, it is extremely difficult to win on the road in basketball, especially in the Big Ten. Even Northwestern has a winning percentage at home. I think, I did an article a few years ago on this. I think Michigan State's winning percentage at home is something like 89%. But the Gophers are around. Playing at the Barn in Minnesota is extremely difficult because of how it's laid out and how the sound is. And how it vibrates when people start jumping up and down. I think theirs is around 78% at home. So it's important we win the home games. There you go. I'm excited. I'm going to do this too, because basketball I want us to be good. I want us to have a good basketball team. I want us to finally go to the NCAA and win a game. And, I just get like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I kind of trying to be, kind of calm. Okay. Anyway.
We talked a few minutes back about, John, the likelihood of you having long-term care insurance. Josh says that you have long-term care in the form of rotten sun. Revenge for going to Minnesota is that you have to live with rotten sun.
That is why my long-term care plan is to just go outside in 20 below. Jesus. Oh, my God.
And Aaron's excited to know that they can say whatever they want about you, John, before the show starts. It will all be read. Josh also says we're 2 months early for basketball to matter for most people.
Probably true.
And let's see if I'm missing anything. I did an accidental. Wait a minute. Hold on. Guess who's here, John? Todd can't get enough of you on Monday night, so he's here with us tonight in typing form, that's fine for Todd. Also wears yellow tights. There are pictures of this under lock and key. And those... you do have a dickie.
What the hell?
This is why we need Todd.
Oh, we can't.
Okay, the yellow tight thing, that was just for intramural football, and they used to call me Chicken Legs Johnston. There you go. See there?
As a distraction.
Yeah, it used to terrify everybody. My God, what is wrong with this human? Okay. Hey, all right.
Cobbycorn.com could potentially have a yellow, maybe a corn cob leotard. John, just saying. Make it happen.
I think those days are over for me.
Maybe for you, but to quote Joe Dirt, it's not about you, it's about the consumer. Now, I'm not the consumer in this case, but there would be crazy people out there.
They would love your yellow tights.
Oh, God. We can move on to football if you want.
Well, let's do that. This past Monday, we saw some college football playoff action. The semifinals, Michigan, Alabama, and Washington, Texas. Now, we're going to do these in reverse order because this is a Nebraska show, and we have to tie it into Nebraska the only way we can, since it's been decades since we played for a national title, but it's only been 14 years since we had to worry about Texas being granted 1 second on the clock.
That's true.
And I know as soon as they awarded that second, I had flashbacks of Mac Brown chicken.
Yeah.
I don't think that's exactly what he sounds like,
was
but
so bizarre. That was just, and there were so many plays that I felt like were not called, and that was just bizarre. But okay, it was so entertaining.
Yeah, both games were really good. Both games were really good.
Which is a stark contrast from most of the college football playoff era. You know, we in the semifinals we've had some really lopsided matches, and really only in the last couple of years have we seen some competitive games in the playoffs. So now it's going to be 12 teams next year, and crapshoot. I mean, we really have no idea what next year's going to look like, which is fine. I don't, you know, we've got a whole year of football to play before we start worrying about next year's playoffs. But just, I don't know. I watched more postseason football on Monday than I did all of December. I think I couldn't tell the last time I watched like a college football playoff game. And I know it makes me sound like a bad college football fan, but mostly it's just because I have zero interest in watching another SEC, game, which is what a lot of them turn out to be. So I was pleased with the results of both the games on Monday. We go back. I think we talked about this last week, you and I, Minnie, about that map of the United States and what states were cheering for which of the four teams, and they foolishly had Texas, the horns up over Nebraska. I'm like, that's not the case. But did the results go the way you hoped they would?
Overall, yes. I don't know if I was too thrilled about Michigan winning, but I'm excited now about this matchup that we have on Monday. I can't wait. It's just going to be so exciting. I hope Washington destroys them. Quarterback is amazing.
Yeah, I didn't want to see Alabama in another national title game.
Yeah, I definitely didn't want to see Texas.
In some ways, it's going to be an all Big Ten final.
Yeah.
So
well, and I was thinking about that too. I was joking about that in the office on Tuesday. I said, look, if it was Texas, Alabama playing, then the SEC, who's absorbing Oklahoma and Texas, in 2024, they would have said, yeah, SEC. I just did the same. I'm like, yeah, the Big Ten is the best conference in college football this year, and we have two teams playing for the national championship. Might as well be proactive in appropriating, our bettors, I suppose.
Okay, what the hell is this? Todd Wolverton, what a shit basket that guy is. Greg, that's proof there are too many bowl games. And then Fred Sacco's like, oh, there are way too many bowl games. Nobody wants to watch a pile of 6-6 teams. Listen, it's more college football. And it's two teams that would never play each other in the regular season. Anybody on this earth who didn't like the Pop-Tart Bowl can just, wait a minute. Fred Sacco says, my bad, 1/4 full stadiums. John's yellow tights got me in a lather. For God's sakes, shouldn't have read that last part. Anyway, it's not about the stadiums being full. ESPN owns all these bowls. They put them on the TV so that we have more football to watch, because in 2 months we won't have any football. In another week we'll have the NFL. But we won't have any college football for months and months and months. And we'd be going, oh, where'd the college football go? Oh, when's college football coming back? There were some really great games, Kansas State and North Carolina State in a bowl where the mascot wants to be eaten. That was so bizarre and unbelievably wonderful. And then, there were a lot of good games. And then there was the Orange Bowl where, Georgia destroyed a completely, I don't give a shit Florida State team that was not competitive and not fun to watch. But I don't think there's too many bowls. I get it where, maybe Minnesota at 5-7 shouldn't have won the Quick Lane Bowl, but it's still more college football. And I like college football. I didn't watch them all, but The janitor says, joined late. Are y'all watching basketball? I am, because I'm a fan. See that? I'm a fan. There you go.
I'll tell you what, this is how pro Nebraska our Coronation team overall is, because Todd Wolverton is a known basketball hater. He loves wrestling, and that's
Wrestling's
great.
his thing. Yep.
And for that matter, friend of the show, Josh, is not known for round ball. Josh also wrestled in high school. Don't ask me how I know that. But such is the intrigue about this team that Fred Hoiberg's put together, and the start to the season that they've had, that, yeah, we have other winter sport guys who are invested in what Fred Hoiberg's doing. So good on you. Yeah, some of us are watching. I'm not. I'm over here. I don't have the luxury. Look, I always say you can't hide money. That's why Todd's, or not Todd. That's why John's got another screen here. He's able to watch the game. I don't. I have a wall. I'm literally looking at the corner of my room. There's nothing else. It's just me and you all here.
We see your beautiful ceiling fan.
Thank you.
In the background.
I've had a request to turn that fan on, but the fan is very shy. So, shut up, Josh. It's very difficult to wrestle somebody who's 1,000 miles away. I'm just saying. All right, so well, I want to double back to more college football talk, but I can't move away from a second or a clock running out and not bring up the mishap that took place in Iowa City last night with Caitlin Clark getting the 3 off after the buzzer. They counted it because it's Caitlin Clark and she's getting everything she wants. Big issue with that. I don't care how good she is for the sport. The rules are rules. That's why I think that everybody in the NBA travels. Nothing's enforced anymore. They do.
Did you just say rules are rules?
Rules are rules.
Well, I don't know if Michigan would agree with that.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say a toll is a toll and a roll is a roll, and if we don't get no tolls, then we don't eat no rolls.
No, I just think that rules are just
careful. Here we go. James gets it. Rules are rules.
Oh, I like that
R-H,
one.
Matt Rhule.
Mm-hmm. They're just a suggestion in college football.
They're not.
Well,
football, I'm talking about college basketball. I'm talking about.
I know, totally different thing.
But
I didn't go over the Caitlin Clark thing, but I can tell you this: if you start watching women's basketball, it will drive you completely out of your fucking mind, because it is the most. We all complain about officiating in sports. Women's college basketball has to be the most one-sided officiating. If you watch the NBA, you're familiar with the don't touch Michael Jordan, don't touch LeBron James, don't touch the star. They get all the foul calls. Women's basketball is like that times 5 times. And if you're playing at home, you get all the foul calls and the other team gets nothing. If you're ranked in the top 25, you get all the foul calls and the other. It's really lopsided and horrifying. And it really makes you want to smash things watching that basketball. So just be careful when you're watching women's basketball. Be aware of that ahead of time. And then, have something that's like an old appliance that you can break and smash into the wall or whatever. You don't be breaking
idea.
you need to keep old, like people are like, we should throw out this toaster. No, you should actually keep that toaster because you want to use a hammer on it someday after a game. That's how we use appliances in my house when they're done.
Great suggestion.
Yeah.
I think I might take that.
There's a good reference here. Mike Corrigan says the Pop-Tart Bowl could have been turned into a Tom Petty video if we remember Alice kind of being transformed into a cake and all the characters circling around it. That's awesome. Let's see. Josh says, holy shit, Aaron, a Men in Tights, Robin Hood Men in Tights reference. I'm glad that Aaron picked up on that. I don't have Aaron's comment here. I mean, it's up there, but Aaron's correct. I did start it. Josh, you should know better. So, Michigan, Alabama goes overtime. When was I'm genuinely asking. I'm not trying to be a smartass, but has a college football playoff game ever gone to overtime prior to Monday?
I don't know. My memory's really crappy.
Honestly, I'm the wrong person to ask.
Because you just started.
It's not like I've been watching bowl games my whole life.
Right.
But I can tell
I
you.
got kids.
Well, I think I would like to say the last time a national title or anything associated with that was like Ohio State, Miami a long time ago. God, I don't know. These are things that, I've been spending all day looking at Linux servers, but on top of that, like the era from 1901 to 1905 to make sure I have all my facts right for my next history video. So,
Hey, John, I have a question that's completely unrelated to everything.
Oh my God. Josh Hansen was just banned.
How do I bring him back? I thought it'd be funny to put him in timeout.
Well,
no.
you guys go on and I'll figure out how to do this.
Gosh. Okay. We'll just pretend that didn't happen.
You might want to text him so he hasn't already put a hit out on your life.
I mean, he would anyway. Oh, hold on. Everybody just give me he sent me a GIF of I don't know how to he sent me that GIF.
Oh.
But that might be unrelated. So, my bad, dude. Thought I was being funny. John's working on this now.
Yeah, you guys go on. I'll be back.
Okay,
this is great podcast fodder, by the way. Okay, so Minnie, you put together a list.
I did
of incoming Huskers, recent Nebraska commits from the early signing period, who are, if I'm getting this right, the top ranked player in their position in their respective state. Correct?
You got that right.
All right. Well, I have video or not. I have a video. Josh, he says he did. All right. For those of you, I keeping you updated on this. Josh messaged me back. I said, my bad, dude. Thought I was being funny. John's working on this now. He says, timeout. I shall have my revenge. So that's going to be fun.
Was he on Facebook or on YouTube?
YouTube.
Okay. All right. I'll be back.
So I have some visual aids for the benefit of the viewers here. But where do you want to start? What state? What position? I'm ready to go.
Okay, let's start with Nebraska, the best.
Yeah, we got a few number one best in their position kids coming to Nebraska.
We have quite a few, and honestly, we even have. It didn't make the list that I gave you, but there's also a defensive back. Isaiah, I can't remember his name. Isaiah. I'll look it up. Okay. Anyways, let's start with Carter Nelson, right?
Yes.
Number one tight end in Nebraska.
I believe in that country. Was it not?
Was it? Oh, actually, it is in the country. Yes, you're right.
So correction on my part. 247 Sports has him number one in the state, number two in his position, and nationally he's the 45th or 43rd best player nationally.
My curtains are distracting somebody. There. How's that? Just
that's Scott. Scott saying the Minnie's curtains are distracting. Let's see, and we're
eke them out.
And we're also being provided information on college football playoff games that went to ties or went to overtime, I should say. Mike Oregon says the 2018 national championship that Alabama beat Georgia by a field goal, 26-23 in overtime. So thank you for that. We appreciate the heads up. I think they said that there were 3 total that were.
Dang. Yeah, I was really surprised that went into overtime. Wow.
Okay.
It was a great game.
Now we have the benefit of I don't have any high school stats, and we kind of talked about this last week too. Is it's so tough.
They don't give them to you.
No, but at the same time, again, you could be, Carter Nelson, who is an absolute dude. But I don't mean this in any offense. He's not playing the tippy top nationwide talent, and that's about to change. And when he's at Nebraska, he's going to be playing the Ohio States and the Michigans and the Penn States, Wisconsins. Now throw in Washington, Oregon, UCLA, USC, things like that. So college is really where we start to separate the wheat from the chaff. So I'm not discounting any of his abilities. I'm very excited that he's chosen to stay home and go to Lincoln. So
yeah, for sure. And then, well, of course, we have Daniel Kaelin, number 1 quarterback in Nebraska.
Correct. Listed as the number 2 player in the state of Nebraska. Nationally, he's the 28th best. They have him listed as 28th best quarterback, but he's a 3-star. Nelson was a 4-star. I don't know. I think he's probably not that I don't put his. I mean,
he was supposed to get bumped up to a 4-star,
and he might have been
yeah, and especially because he was in the Elite 11.
Agreed, and
his precision was really great in that.
The whole emphasis of this show being the 5 heart, not the 5-star podcast. I've always put more emphasis on, again, bring the guys to Lincoln who want to be here, who want to give every bit of blood, sweat, and tears to the program. And I think that's what Danny Kaelin is going to bring. So I'm not too terribly concerned about the star ratings. So
exactly. So did you catch that I had sent you another guy towards the end that was Camden Koch? He's a 3-star. That's why I didn't catch it before. He's a 3-star. He's the number 1 punter in Maryland. Number 4 in the nation, though.
I had it. Where'd it go? There it is. There it is. There we go. And he's a legacy because his dad was Sam, and Sam had a tremendous Nebraska, college and NFL career. So, Todd's with me. I mean, we don't agree on much because he's a surly old fart. But he says, agree, Greg, get those guys who want to be Cornhuskers. So
I need Josh's username on YouTube.
All right, I'm working on it.
So have him text it to you and put it in the private chat.
Okay.
Nebraska is up 53-44, 14-31. Alec just got destroyed, I think, going up, and they're having a long official review, I think, to see if there's a flagrant foul here. Okay, continue on with your football stuff.
Thanks for popping in here periodically, John. I don't know what we'd be without you.
If you were banned.
Oh, gosh, here we go. I'm never going to live this down. Sidebar real quick, because Mike Corrigan says Nebraska's defense will be stone cold killers next year. And I agree. Also, Aaron says in a program focused on player development, star ratings are almost useless. Again,
true.
I agree.
Okay. Should we move on to
I'm ready.
Davon Hall, number 1 wide receiver in Nebraska. This makes the 2nd year in a row we've gotten the number 1 wide receiver in Nebraska.
That's right. Malachi Coleman was last year.
And that's all Rhule's doing. So, and Garrett McGuire, of course.
Okay.
There's dead air.
I didn't die. I'm trying to the typing is loud, and I was trying to be discreet, so I apologize.
Oh, okay.
And Davion Hall, he was one who is he and Danny Kaelin were teammates, correct? Isn't he one of the Bellevue kids?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Bellevue or was it West Side? Because I know I'm going to get it wrong.
Yeah, I think it's Bellevue West.
Bellevue West.
All right, I feel better now.
You're right.
All right. So yeah, Davon Hall again.
Davon.
That's what I'm going with. I feel bad. I'm so stupid.
They don't have the pronunciations yet on the roster. That helps so much.
That would be tremendous. Wikipedia might tell us, but I don't trust Wikipedia.
Well, normally what they'll do is they'll send out, when we get closer to media stuff, because it's dead right now, we'll get access to, media guides in the spring media guide. And normally those have pronunciation, sheets in them. You know what I mean? The full pages of pronunciation, proper pronunciation, all this. You know what? It's almost, anybody could, I don't mean to be mean about this, but the amount of information you get fed by athletic departments, my God, anybody could damn near be a sports writer. You know that?
They give us so much. I'm like, who puts together all this information? A lot.
Well, there's a lot of people at work there. At every one of those games,
I don't know. I don't know if anyone's taken the time to try to figure out how many number one players from their states did we actually get. I mean, this is 10, right? 10 players. I think that is a huge deal. That's a game changer.
Well, you need to write this up so we can stick it in an article along with this on Corn Nation.
Okay.
All
right. Let's see. Fred says dead hair when we were talking about all the quiet. Quit hair shaming me, John. I did get a haircut this afternoon. I know you probably can't tell.
By an actual haircut stylist person?
I went to an actual barbershop today. Yeah.
Really? Because it kind of looks like the Flowbee thing going on there.
I never use a Flowbee, but I do have my own clippers.
Gosh.
So, although, by the way, I haven't seen him in the chats yet, but if David Matney from Omaha were here, he would be asking about our hair care products. So
yes, he would. Which we are working on.
Something like that. By the way, John, just for you, a little peek behind the curtain. Josh says to tell you, John, just to roll with the show. He's patient and he can be a Chatterfield martyr, is how he says. And he also likes that I owe him one. So
tell him to go back over to Facebook and see if he can stream from there.
Josh Hansen's on from Facebook.
Yeah, he's on Facebook now. Yep. So Fred says there are many podcasts like this, but this one is mine. So thank you, Fred. So we've had Men in Tights reference tonight. We've had Full Metal Jacket. But we got to stay on. We got to stay focused. All right, Minnie, who's up next?
Okay, let's do Iowa. Grant Bricks, number one offensive tackle. Huge.
That's a big one.
Hold on, I have that in here. I don't know why it's not. The image disappeared. I'll bring it back. Lickety split. I promise. I'm sorry, everybody.
Okay.
I'm a horrible.
A lot of people are wondering if he can contribute right away. But from his size, perhaps. But he's already a big kid.
He is, but I think with any lineman, just here's the thing that I always say about linemen. I mean, unless you're like in Alabama and you're picking up some guy that's so overdeveloped in high school that he's probably going to peak by his sophomore year in college, most linemen need to come in and they need to get into the strength and conditioning program for a year. And they need to be able to get used to being a college football player at a Division I level. And if you have to use a freshman, it means that your depth is shit. Because I know that we're probably excited to see Grant Bricks on the field, but I'd rather we were playing other players and giving him time to develop fully and get his strength up to speed and get a year into, before you start beating the hell out of him. That's always my position on offensive line.
That's a great point.
For those of you who are regulars on Monday Night Therapy, that Todd likes looking at I want to make sure I phrase this appropriately. He judges the quality of an offensive lineman by the size of his rear. So Todd says he cannot contribute right away. He is big, but he needs to develop his strength a lot. And Fred says Grant Bricks, number one on Todd's great cabooses of 2024 calendar. So
that would be a great calendar.
I'm gonna give you a few seconds to take that one back, Minnie.
What? No. I mean the offensive lineman. That's what I mean. Gosh. Okay. So moving
James-
on.
James Boardman says Bricks is a project. He comes from a team that rarely threw the ball, so he is going to have to spend. You got to learn the kickback and the first step and stuff like that against defensive ends.
Yeah.
Melissa Gitchell, I think.
Oh, hey, Melissa.
Gitchell is, I think, the first time here. He was used to passing. He had a run offense, so there you go.
Melissa's a diehard.
Yeah, Melissa was
She's a
here last week,
diehard
John.
Coronation. Yep.
You were there with your family? Like, what's that about?
What?
Just kidding. All right.
Oh,
Well, I just wanted to say another thing about Grant Bricks real quick. I loved looking at, because you can pull up all the players that are ranked in Iowa. And it was so great to see. We got that one at the very top. And then after that, yep, Iowa, you got that one, that one, that one, that one. Oh, but you didn't get that one. Just keep that in mind, Kirk Ferentz.
I'll tell you, I'm really liking how, and now I realize that not every one of Nebraska's best players are necessarily going to fit the mold that Matt Rhule and company are building in Lincoln. But I do think that Rhule is starting to lock down the border a little bit. The top 4 players, 6 of the top 7, are all coming to Nebraska. And, you've got Wyoming, Dash Bauman, a linebacker from Lincoln East, is going to committed to Wyoming. You've got a kid from Stromsburg who's going to play at Illinois. I mean, we have one other kid who's going to Iowa, but a lot of it's not like when Wisconsin and Iowa were all coming in poaching. Like, we're not going to see a lot of these kids too terribly often, on the field. So I that's a minor victory, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
John, you start a comment if you wanted to highlight that one real quick.
Oh, James Boardman says Raiola. I assume Dylan. I assume he means Dylan. Is at the basketball game. I kind of like that. My understanding is, am I stealing your thunder? We have a wide receiver in the house also. That's what I heard earlier, is that Dylan Raiola was going with a visiting wide receiver. I can't remember the guy's name. The Texas wide receiver.
Minnie, I know you had some information on that earlier.
It's Isaiah Nayor.
That's it. Go ahead.
So he originally played in Wyoming, and he won all these awards. And then he transferred to Texas. And before he could even play on the field, he tore his ACL in practice. So he was injured all of 2022. 2023, he's played only one game. He didn't see the field much, so he's transferring out. And I mean, he's an amazing player. He's supposed to be there tonight, so that's cool.
I'm not going to take this bet for Fred, but I will highlight it. Fred says $5 says whatever Raiola is at the game, his first name starts with D. Well done. And Josh, who's here with us now on Facebook, thank you, Josh, and my humblest apologies. I'll send you more barbecue sauce. Says he's over recruiting for transfers, visits. Awesome. Pretty awesome. So
it is. Well, he needs the weapons.
Joel,
so that would be really great.
I'm starring your comment for conversation at the end of the show, or at least when we get through this particular segment. So Minnie, who do we have next?
Well, since Todd is interested in offensive linemen, caboose, I just wonder how he feels about Preston Toma from Hawaii.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. There.
There we go.
That guy's got a lot of.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
He's got a lot of stars.
Yeah, he does. And he's a big, big guy. I want to say, I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but he's nearing 300.
Minnie, Fred has a question. Fred asks if it's Dylan at the game and what did he have for breakfast?
Fred. We all know he had Fruity Pebbles. That's his favorite breakfast.
which we talked about this last week. And John, you weren't here, so please weigh in. Cocoa Pebbles are far superior to Fruity Pebbles, right?
Oh my God, who eats this sugary stuff? It's bad for your brain health.
That's fine. I don't have a whole lot of brain health to go, so
you need to preserve as much as possible for your future.
Should I be drinking this beverage that's
Well,
7.5% ABV?
What am I, your doctor?
Yes.
Well,
you have therapy with Todd, and I have health checkup with John.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah. Do I need to?
Number 1 from Hawaii. Yes, Melissa.
Yes.
He is the number 1 offensive lineman in Hawaii. And that's actually what got me going on this whole thing. Go ahead.
Fred says, amen, John. Now we're in sync. First Todd, now you. Todd tells me to keep drinking. And this is probably a question best suited for Todd. So, Todd, please pay attention. Aaron Rostovsky, who is a member of our coordination team, says, how does he rate on the badonkometer? Todd, we're going to leave that one to you. And Fred, to answer your question, it's actually the same thing I was drinking last week, which is the Great Lakes Brewing Company Christmas Ale. I still have
Must be a good
more
one.
I need to get in. I usually don't get 12 packs, but I did. And I got to get more in the fridge. This is my last cold one. So, hair tips with John. Yes, the coordination hair care products are in the works. And Aaron, to answer your question, Todd says 9 badonks. 9, but you know what?
Pretty good.
Part of me wishes that these kids would know about us and know what we do and that we're just, having fun. But I'm also kind of glad that they don't, because we might be really scary to a bunch of incoming freshmen. So, all right. So, after Preston,
let's go with Nico Ottamanelli, number 1 kicker. Nico Ottamanelli. It rolls off your tongue.
Yeah, it does. Very Italian, and that's okay.
Number 1 kicker, New Jersey.
John, what can you tell us about New Jersey?
I've never been there.
Really?
No, I never have. I've been to Maryland, but not New Jersey. I don't know if that's the proper accents. Well, we've gotten good players. Wasn't one of the Roziers? Come on, one of the big running backs Rozier was from New Jersey, wasn't he?
Sure.
You guys are supposed to know this.
They don't. I'm not an encyclopedia.
Yes. Born in Camden, New Jersey.
Yeah.
There you go.
I feel bad for Mike Rozier because he played in the USFL.
Why do you feel bad for him?
Because he didn't get a chance to play in the NFL.
Well, he probably made fair money. And he didn't get, you look at the NFL players and you sometimes go, well, I guess if you didn't have that
I was wrong. He did play in the NFL. I'm dumb.
Yeah, that means that they didn't beat the shit completely out of their bodies either. So,
Josh said, welcome back, Josh, again. I'll just keep saying that every time you comment with my deepest, most sincerest apology. The Peter brothers were from Jersey, correct?
I want to say no. Man, this is where, I'm trying to pay attention to basketball. Got all that history shit going on in my head, and Linux servers and cyber attack and security.
Yes.
What?
Christian Peter was and
Middletown.
Presumably his brother, were from New Jersey. So
okay.
And as I hit refresh, because people do ask, 64-51 Nebraska over Indiana with 8:23 to play. So we'll continue to keep y'all posted. All right. So Nico, again, more. Who would have thought we'd be saying more depth at kicker?
I know. Well, we had one leave in the transfer portal.
That's true.
We put his name in yesterday. We also have from Nevada, Xander Rigoroli, and we have got to come up with a good nickname for him. Number 1 offensive tackle in Nevada.
I would just figure Xander, right?
Well, his full name is Alexander.
Is it?
Yeah, and Xander Short, or Alexander. But no, I love his last name. Every time I see it, it reminds me of, and this is going to age me. Do you remember the Laverne and Shirley show?
I do.
Okay. Do you remember the Big Ragu? Carmine?
No. Oh, okay. Yes.
He was like the janitor. He was
Oh.
Shirley's boyfriend. He danced and sang.
And that's what you're thinking of when you think of this Xander Rugaroli dude?
Xander Rugaroli. Yes. Sorry.
Well,
he's gonna hate me. But
Eddie Mecca, or Edward Rudolph Mekian, died in 2021. So
I know.
Oh, I didn't know if you knew that. I'm sorry. Wasn't trying to upset you. James Boardman has a recommendation for nickname. He says Zanny Ruggs.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Todd says that Xander's a caboose guy as well, but not as many badonks as their boy from Hawaii. What is going on with this show?
We have our own way of rating players.
And Todd also says you got him, Minnie, the Big Ragu.
Yeah.
But Fred says the Big Ragu is our former HC's name on plenty of fish.
Oh, gosh.
So.
Oh.
All right. Let's see. Fred says Mr. Ragaroli's Neighborhood, great episode of The Sopranos. Or Ruggarolis. I said Ragarolis. So. All right. So we got Xander. Who else? I think there's only one more.
Did I miss somebody?
A receiver from Montana.
Oh,
he went
and I missed him originally. Yeah, Quinn Clark, number 1 wide receiver from Montana.
I don't know what y'all would do without me.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an honorable mention that I know you included in your list. If you still have the data.
I had it. Hold on. Yeah, that just wowed me. I just thought that, okay. I don't want to mess up his name because I do that. Give me 1 second. Sorry. I had a lot to say. Okay. He is Roger Gradney. He's listed as an athlete, so he can play offense and defense. And he's ranked 2nd in Texas. Now, Texas is a huge state, and the competition there is fierce. He was injured his junior year, so that probably had an impact on him being ranked 2nd. The scout excerpt, can I read that? Because it's so cool.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. One of the more intriguing prospects in Texas high school football 2024 class, small town do-it-all prospect who is a flat-out football player, could play either side of the ball in the long run, but physical and athletic profiles suggest modern off-ball linebacker or box safety role could provide highest long-term potential. Projects as a legitimate P5 caliber prospect with athletic markers and on-field context that suggests ample long-term upside that could result in impact playing ability and a future beyond college. NFL caliber. How cool is that? That gets me really excited. I can't wait. I can't wait to see these kids.
And that's the thing too, because Texas has so many like schools. I mean, so many Division I programs.
Football's life.
I'm tickled to get a number 2 kid. At their position. Now, one of the names we didn't mention, and I know he's listed as an athlete, but he's very highly rated as far as in-state goes, and he's the 6th best player in the state, number 34 at his position. But that's Caleb Benning, Omaha West Side.
Love that kid.
It's again another legacy player. Who can bring something. I don't know where exactly he's going to fit, but I know that Rhule and company are going to have a spot for him somewhere. So, John,
70 to 53, 7:18 left. Casey Tominaga has, I think, 21 points. Yes, 21 points. Juwan Gary's got 4 fouls. That Tominaga he just scores, and he's like, how the hell are we getting all these points? And then you turn around, and now he's got 21 points. It's pretty wild. I'd say he's early. He's early in warming up, because I didn't expect Tominaga to start going off until like at least mid-January or the end of January.
Is that a concern? Because I know he played a lot of international ball in what we consider our off season. So are we concerned about him tiring out or becoming fatigued as we get into the latter part of February, John? I mean, a serious question. I'm not trying to be a smart ass.
I don't think so, because I think this team has just a lot of players. They have a lot of guys you can put on the floor in different situations. So, I mean, you can swap. They have guys that can play minutes, and they're not just like useless for things. I mean, I'm going to say, oh, come on, Hosea, yeah, oh, God, Hosea Alex. He is not a threat to score a shit ton of points, but he's good on the floor because he plays tough defense and he can get rebounds and stuff like that. So, I don't want to get too excited. Okay.
Aaron says that basketball has a guy that flew from Japan in Lincoln to watch Tominaga play. He was pretty hyped after that last sequence. Didn't get a great look at his badonk, though.
Tominaga's family is there tonight, which is kind of cool,
Of course. I mean, that's a hell of a drive. Todd says that Tominaga woke up in the second half. Let's see here. Some other good ones.
Corn Crazed is in the chat. Yeah.
Hey, Connor.
That's
how you
Connor
doing?
Hayden.
Thank you.
Great channel.
Corn Crazed for the super chat. John?
Yes?
Do you want to tell, remind people maybe who are checking in for the first time in a long time what we've been doing the last few months?
What have we been doing the last few months?
Oh, I'll tell you. I'm glad that you forgot, because it allows me the opportunity. Hold on. Thank you, Connor. I'm going to minimize this. That's important because we need the benefit of the full screen.
Oh, God. I forgot about this.
No, you didn't. Don't lie.
Yes, I did.
All right. Tell the good people what we've been doing the last few months, John.
We've been talking about Husker football.
Yeah, but
Yes.
why we have been raising funds?
Well,
I don't know. I thought it was to give to Team Jack. I made $1,000 donation.
yes, that was wonderful. But in the chat, somebody had mentioned the Young Guns movie, right?
Yes.
And John goes, "Oh, that's the worst movie of all time." And we're like, wait a second. Are we on the same, are we talking about the same movie? Because it's actually not the worst movie of all time. It's pretty good. So he took on a challenge that if we raised money,
It was $100, and it
$100.
wasn't at first. It wasn't for Team Jack. At first, it was
right.
It was just like a bet. Like if we're crazy enough, if people are crazy enough to give us $100, we'll find a way to do a viewing party for Young Guns.
And John would actually watch it.
God.
Okay. But he kept putting it off.
I am looking for, I miss Emilio Estevez.
I have a theory.
Kiefer Sutherland and that one guy.
In a blaze of glory.
Lou Diamond Phillips?
Oh, yeah, that guy, yes.
Look at those handsome studs. Charlie Sheen?
Charlie
that's the guy. That's the guy.
Tiger
Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
And we can't forget John the Grump. Johnston.
Crap, sorry about that. So I have a theory, because John, it's probably been at least 7 years since you watched Young Guns. Would you say it's been closer to 25 years since you watched Young Guns?
Yes. Plus, it's the whole Ben Dad lost a lot of memory things. Yeah.
Hear me out. Let me finish. I have a theory. My theory is that you used to love peanut butter, and now post mortem and brain injury, you hate peanut butter.
That is
you
true.
used to hate the Young Guns. I think when you sit down and watch it, you're gonna be like, might be the top 3 Western of all time.
This could
how
be,
could I say that about this movie?
That could be true. I'm so anxious to watch this movie now. When are we going to do this, Greg? You son of a bitch.
Soon and very soon. I don't know when.
Can't wait.
We
all can't wait.
I want to ask, while we're having this conversation, I want to ask the Chatterfields if it's okay, because this will be a special show. Like, this won't be something that we'll have to send you a special link and things like that and get the word out. Could we do it on like a weekend, like a Saturday night instead of a Wednesday or Thursday?
That would be good.
Okay. We'll make the plans. All right. Rostovsky says that 26 for Tominaga so far. Aaron says top 3 Westerns of all time. Greg finally boarded the delusion train. No, I said that after John watches this post brain injury, he's going to think that this is a top 3 Western of all time. That's what I'm saying.
They must have scored.
So with that all being said, a couple other things here of note before we switch sports. And Minnie, again,
wait.
Oh, sorry.
Because I love that. Because I love that somebody always asks the nagging question, what are we doing about long snapper? It's still up in the air. We don't know. We're dying to know.
That is true.
You can convert anybody to a long snapper. I'm convinced.
Okay. Do you want to do it?
I would. You know what? If I had one good knee, I would love to do it.
Okay.
Now that it's illegal to put a guy on top of the center, I'm not going to disagree with that as much as I would have otherwise. But you have to be some level of batshit insane to be a center in the first place.
Hey, John, can you read this comment?
Which one? I can't see anything. Fred Sacco says our former head coach chased a lot of long snapper. Ba-da-ba-doom. Brett Klusaw says hi. I don't know who that is.
Brett chimed in here before, I thought earlier in the comments, but hello, Brett. All right, so that's right. In Camp Kenosha, it's not illegal to put a guy on top of a center.
God.
You know what? That's just going to be
that's really bad.
It's like the Jelly of the Month Club. It's the gift that keeps on giving. So
it does.
All right, so long snapper, okay. I'll do it. Give me 2 good sturdy knee braces, and I'll do it. That's fine.
That's very nice of you.
I wanted to go.
I have a question. I have a question.
John's raising his hand.
I have a question for you two.
Okay.
Are either of you going to pay attention to Husker baseball?
I will, to the extent that I always do.
Minnie? Are you a baseball fan? Are you a baseball fan?
I just was talking about this last night. Baseball is probably about the worst game to watch. I'm just
on TV.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm gonna get expelled from this show.
It's okay. It's okay. I don't like Major League Baseball at all. I think it's boring, but I do like college baseball just because I think it's a different game. I think there's a lot more, running. Come on.
I'm sorry, Aaron.
My terms are there. My terms are somewhere else. Okay, so basically, I'll need to follow baseball during the baseball season.
I'll do like I do with everything else. I will read about it on cornnation.com and come to these shows 25% prepared.
The janitor says, what's the outlook expectation for baseball this season?
Blood.
I will tell you this. My plan is this, and I still need to get everybody together to do it. I think that we're going to try to do very specific softball only shows because I have the people to cover that sport. And we have Todd covers baseball and Aaron cover baseball. And I think that we will let them, I'll try to figure out how we're going to be able to have people do baseball information too, just because, I think there's enough people that there's not enough coverage of those sports. Everybody covers Husker footballs. I think those two sports are worth, they don't provide income. I mean, they don't get enough hits to move the needle much, but I do think people are interested in them. So that's what my goal is for when we move into softball and baseball season. There you go. I'm sorry.
Fred, I appreciate his honesty. I'll listen to you guys talk about it on here, make inappropriate comments as needed.
Thank God.
That's all we can really ask. I tell you what, we have, as a family, have really been enjoying the Savannah Bananas the last few years. Are you familiar with them?
Yes.
No.
Minnie, sometime, jump on YouTube and or probably Instagram or other social media and just type in because it's baseball that's fun. You could hit 17 home runs in an inning, and if your opponent scores 2 runs, like you win the inning like 1-0. It's almost like
cornhole,
like match play golf. I think if that's I can't remember it. But you win the inning, and then but it's confined to like a 2-hour time limit. It's a very entertaining.
That sounds so much better.
I want to say it's like the Harlem Globetrotters, except the Generals don't always lose. Like they have their fixed opponent, but it's actual baseball. Except sometimes like the first baseman is a guy on like 6-foot stilts, and sometimes the relief pitcher is dressed as a clown. The home plate umpire dances. It's a lot of fun. And we have looked into getting
true
tickets.
Entertainment.
It is. We've looked into trying to find some tickets when they're in our area, but the closest they get to us is like Indianapolis or Louisville, Kentucky. So,
okay.
But it's getting my oldest into baseball, and then unfortunately we got to take him to his practice, and he's like, "This is not like the baseball that I watched on TV, Dad." All right. So before we switch away from football, as we're past, go ahead. Yeah.
There's just one other thing. I mean, because somebody mentioned that Isaiah Nayer is at the basketball game.
I haven't seen him, but that's what I was told, that he was going to be there.
Well, I heard that we have a total of possibly 5 players coming to look at Nebraska this weekend. Yeah. We already talked about Jamal Banks, the wide receiver from Wake, right?
Yes, last week.
We talked about him last week. He's supposed to be there. Dante Dowdell, the Oregon running back. Lance Hurd. Now, this is a new one because he just put his name in the transfer portal, right? From LSU, the 4-star. He's an offensive tackle, Todd.
Oh, you know what that means.
340. 340. 6'6". This guy's gigantic. And
I'm listening.
You see him? Okay. And then I also showed this. I don't know how to say his name, so I'm going to just say X. That's what I've heard people call him. X3 Alexander. He's the guy from Idaho, the linebacker.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one. Huh.
Yeah. So we have quite a few really great players coming to look at Nebraska this weekend.
Is it
so we could
Zuri, perhaps? Alexander?
Maybe that's how you say it. I mean, I need to hear somebody. That sounds right.
Yeah. It's XE''REE. So
yes.
We're just guessing at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was going to say something about football, and then I forgot because it's kind of nice to. You know what's neat? You
can just sit there and watch basketball.
I just seeing the body language of them fucking Husker players, just all like, woo, you know. I would like to be on Twitter right now giving Indiana people shit. Because they're, here's the thing that you guys need to understand. Okay? Most of the Big Ten isn't like us when it comes to basketball. If we lose to Iowa in football and we beat them in basketball, that hurts them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That hurts them. So that's one reason to pay attention to basketball more than we do, is because it's fun to hurt people that we don't like.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron, for the algebra comment, because of all the vowels, not the vowels, damn it, the consonants and the letters. Josh, who's back. Welcome back, Josh. I don't know what happened. I don't know how you accidentally got removed from the YouTube, but Josh says that watching John watch basketball while trying to stay involved is like talking to my dad on the phone when he's watching the Weather Channel. Well played.
Ooh. Melissa, she's hardcore. She knows what's up. 2 wide receivers there tonight at the basketball game.
Well, Fred says that John's next shirt needs to say, "Here's the thing," and be followed by incomprehensible gibberish.
Fred, I've done this to customers. I have done this to customers for years. They know. In fact, one of my customers got infected with "Here's the thing," and that's what she says ever since she's worked with me. So
I hope I don't get that.
Well, here's the thing.
Well, here's the thing.
All right.
Here's the thing. Nebraska's going to win this game.
They're running away with
They missed the dunk.
Yeah, but there's no way that. I mean, they're up. Look, a minute 14 left. Nebraska's
19.
beating. Okay, I'm sorry. On my Google, it says a minute 14, and it says 84-66. So
it's 86-67 with 21 seconds left.
Okay, well, apparently I let me hit refresh. I'm sorry, John.
There's a cold front moving in.
All right. Before we switch sports, unless Minnie stops me again, and that's okay. I came across this nugget and wanted to give a special shout out to a Nebraska offensive lineman who's going to extend his college career just a little bit, and that is Nuruddin Newell, who's going to play in the Hula Bowl in Orlando.
Yes.
When the Hula Bowl takes place. It doesn't have a date on here, but it's been a little bit, I think, since a Nebraska lineman got invited to play in any of these Senior Bowl type of games. And so very special shout out to Nuruddin Newell, who did not quite have he didn't have a bad career, but, getting popped for, what was it, performance enhancers or something like that, and losing a year of eligibility definitely didn't do so great.
He got it together. They probably were able to do that in Germany, so he didn't know.
Michael Hassman says 86-70 is the final. Josh says Nebraska's wrestling team also kicking ass for the record. Yeah, we need to have Dylan on sometime. Check his availability because he is. I've said this about Beth regarding volleyball being the best out there for covering the sport, especially for Nebraska. Dylan is the best Nebraska wrestling beat writer. So if you are an amateur wrestling, Big Ten collegiate wrestling fan, you need to follow Coronation because Dylan has the best updates, not just the stuff that's going on in season, but he would be here because last year a guy sat out and just wrestled internationally and maintained a red shirt. So check out that for you wrestling fans out there. Now, look, we're a little late into the show for this topic, but I don't think there's a whole lot of meat on this particular bone. Stop it, Fred. But I did want to make mention of this because I know we all saw the comments, heard the comments after the Nebraska-Texas volleyball national championship game, and John Cook talking about the transfer portal, how Texas builds their team, how Nebraska builds. He prefers recruiting high school, players, or seniors, and then building that foundation, building up a team. And then we saw just, within the last few days that and John, you'll be able to tell us a little bit more about this. Taylor Landfair, I believe, is her name.
Yep.
And she is a Minnesota player, was the 2022 Big Ten Player of the Year for volleyball, and she is transferring to Nebraska. So I'm like, oh, John Cook's comments now seem a little bit hypocritical, but I saw hold on, let me finish. And I got to find out exactly who it was. I'm probably not going to be able to find, but there's a really reputable, credible source on Twitter or X for volleyball information, and it's Lincoln something or other. And he shared basically that, look, Nebraska at no time over the last 20 years, yes, they have had transfer portal players, but no more than 2. So with that, I bring you this. Going back, 20 years to 2005, Maggie Griffin was a transfer portal player from Michigan State. But if you look at that, there's never been more than 2 transfer portal players on Nebraska's roster, including 2024, where we have Merritt Beeson and Taylor Landfair. So I guess have to apologize in some regard for my initial reaction to the news that Taylor Landfair was coming in and be like, John Cook's words didn't age so well. But again, when you look at this list here, this is not a whole roster. These are 1 or 2 players on an already well-balanced, foundation of women who have, chosen to come to Lincoln out of high school. So I wanted to make sure that this got some mention because I reacted too quickly. So your thoughts, John, Minnie, as you see this list, I mean, any oversights that are on this list, or?
Not that I'm thinking of. I keep thinking that there's more than this, but I guess there's not. Let's face it, Beth would be the one that would know all this stuff.
Yep. Okay. Well,
official off-season topics. That's what somebody said.
Oh, sorry, that got highlighted, and then that's Josh.
It also matters because you're right, Greg. The foundation matters. And that's how Nebraska does it. That's why we were at the national championships in volleyball. So that's a good point.
Aaron says that the Chatterfields wanted me to finish my story too, as it went on a pretty long story. Thank you for that, Aaron. And Josh says that how does Minnie only do 3 shows and her hair game is killing John's? Did she steal his prototype Kabi hair care products? Can she teach John to use a brush? These answers and more next week.
More fun.
Maybe she could teach me to use a brush. That's something I'd never had to do until I grew my hair out. Oh my God, says, I'm not going down this road.
Response to Aaron, it says, I ran out of breadcrumbs during Greg's bit and can't find my way home. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Let's see. Joel, I had it here and then it disappeared. Joel Tilson says, Husker basketball ranked this year. And I don't know the answer to that question, but Justin seems to have an opinion that they will be after this game.
That's a strong possibility. I mean, we are, what is it now? 12-2, and we're in the Big Ten play. I would like to see us take, like somebody else says, Michael Hausman. If they take down Wisconsin Saturday, they could be. I'd like to see us, prove it a little bit more. I'm trying to not get all, Nebraska basketball has been so disappointing for so long. I don't want to get too hyped up about it and then be crushed into have to go back to therapy.
Go to your bathroom.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Yeah, Huskers are 12-2. Josh says, strength of schedule hurting us being rated. We win more Big Ten games, we'll get there. I mean, I think that goes without saying. If you win more Big Ten games, you also don't have to start the Big Ten tournament on Wednesday morning, which would be nice.
Yeah.
And Matt Hansen says, Nebraska ball, go Big Red, LOL. John. Aaron says, not ranked, just like Creighton, LOL. And we have a ton. We don't have a ton. We have a few starred comments that we put a pin in for just this time of the show. And much earlier in the day at 5:52 p.m., Mike Corrigan, who's been with us most of the evening, I believe, says at the Sugar Bowl, Colt McCoy with 1 second put back on the clock had PTSD, which is post-traumatic Sioux disorder. McCoy was hearing footsteps in the air or on air. So
I hope so. I hope he was that son of a bitch.
Cheating.
I kept thinking during that game, the Texas, I kept thinking, yeah, you sons of bitches, you're getting penalties called against you because you don't own this fucking conference. It's just a playoff game. You dick faces, sons of bitches. God. Yeah.
Let's see.
I feel
Fred,
better.
well, this will change your attitude. Fred says Nebraska basketball has been disappointing since Moses and John both wear short pants and Pikes Peak was a pimple.
Well, he's not wrong.
And James says that John with cornrows and bolero playing in the background.
That sounds terrifying.
That's a good image.
Brett, we agree. Horns down always. Let's see here. Joel, this is the one I mentioned that I was going to star and talk about now. Will Husker men's basketball be ranked this season? I'll tell you, they continue to win. Anything's possible. Does that cover all the bases there?
Yes, it does.
Let's see.
Josh Hansen has you down pretty good.
What I missed.
That's what we ought to do.
What?
We ought to do the best John Johnson.
No.
There's a fun video submission opportunity.
No,
that would be fun.
God.
Oh, come on, John.
It is a long off season.
It is.
We got lots of time.
Yeah.
Aaron says that you failed your Young Gun audition with the geriatric Texas Rain.
Geriatric. I'll have you know.
A fistful of dentures. The good, the bad, and the Johnston. And Fred says he may make a video for his John impersonation.
Oh, yeah.
So, no.
See what we've stumbled into. A couple of good questions here, and one that's not a bad question, just not as good as the other ones. So no offense, Scott, but Scott says, I've noticed during SEC football games that the school bands will play ESPN Sports Center theme songs throughout the game. Do other networks such as CBS or Fox do anything similar?
Huh.
I've noticed during SEC football.
I would venture to say no. Like I don't think Nebraska's ever played like the Fox theme going into or throughout the game. I know that SEC and the ESPN are like this, so I could see why they want to keep their financial overlords happy.
I mean, do other networks such as CBS or Fox? Well, CBS is just now getting involved with somebody beyond the SEC, so nobody's used to that yet. So, and Fox, I don't know. They don't. I mean, what theme song is it? I don't think it's iconic. I mean,
is it
Sports
just
Center
a banana? No.
I think that everybody knows that.
Yeah.
Right.
What is it's got to be recognizable.
Yeah.
I agree.
Did you have another one?
I do. I got caught up in the comments. Thanks for keeping me focused, Minnie. I appreciate it. Let's see. Husker P says, how good can our wide receivers be next year with 2 new 4-stars and sophomore 4-stars now with a real quarterback? First of all, Heinrich Haarberg hears you and he doesn't appreciate. Again, the 2 new 4-stars coming in still have never played a collegiate snap. I'm very excited about Malachi Coleman and Jalen Lloyd. Absolutely. They showed a lot of potential, and on some of those late season games, executed very well. As I like to say during the Casey Thompson and Trey
Palmer.
Thank you. I want to say Trey Bryan. I'm like, he was a Husker, but not the right Trey. I'm looking for more of those biscuit in the basket types of moments. But very excited for it. And how good can it be? Sky's the limit.
Well, keep in mind, they don't have to be great. The offense does not have to be great next year for Nebraska to have a good season. We're going to return a lot of defense, And we saw a defensive coordinator in one season take a defense that was just a shit show and turn them into good football players and disciplined football players. And a lot of those guys are back. So you can expect the defense. Maybe they won't perform quite at that level, although you kind of look at the defensive line and you go, well, they kicked ass last year and they'll probably kick ass again next year.
Oh, yeah.
So the offense doesn't have to score. They don't have to score Washington points. But they need to not score 12. They need to score 25 points a game next year, and we probably will win the majority of our games.
You're right. There won't be the burden. I don't think will be on either side. What we saw in 2023 was the burden was on the defense, to keep Nebraska in the game. And that's why I go back. I'm not trying to, bring up a lot of negativity, but that's why I said during a lot of those games, like, this defense deserved better because the offense, gave the ball away, either 3 and outs or Lord knows the massive amount of turnovers. And the defense did all that they could do to keep those games competitive. Without the defense being where they were, Nebraska doesn't win the 5 games that they won, So with better balance, with I would say a top tier quarterback with a more experienced offensive line, with less injuries in the backfield into the receiving core, anything's possible.
Definitely. Minnie. No, I just wanted to ask, when you were watching the bowl games, were you thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, we could totally be beating these teams?
I did think it was I watched a lot of them thinking we really are shitty because we're not even in a bowl game and some of these teams are terrible.
Yeah. Well, and we have so much going for us. I just feel like we just need everything working together. That would be awesome.
I will say that, watching Michigan play, watching the first half, and I thought, what the hell are you people doing? They had some series in which they were like Marcus Satterfield had taken over the offense, and they were having success running the ball, and they went and they threw the ball 3 times, and then it was 3 and out and punt the ball. And when I watched Michigan, I thought, and in fact, I tweeted this during the game. If I was Michigan, I would go to Blake Corum and say, could you please win this game for us? And he finally did at the end. And way through that game, I think he only had 12 or 13 carries, and I would have expected him to have 20, 22. I think that what you saw from Michigan is a lot of what I'd like to see from Nebraska. A fairly balanced offense, probably more explosive plays in the passing game for Nebraska because they're just fun and they can just mentally decimate a defense, So,
but who are they? Who's Michigan without Blake Corum?
Well, they're not 14-0. That's for sure.
Yep.
I think I think Marvin Harrison was the best player in the nation offensively, and I would put Blake Corum second. So
yeah.
There was a lot of love after Monday night for Michael Penix Jr.
Yeah,
thought that he should have won the Heisman. I mean, we can talk another time maybe about the timing of some of these award presentations because you could potentially have a Heisman Trophy winner who sits out the bowl games. I mean, we saw. I want to highlight Michael Hassman's comment here. He says, with even an average quarterback this year, they would have went bowling. Hitting wide open receivers and limiting turnovers would do wonders next season. And it was Joel Tilson says Ohio State looked terrible without the quarterback who transferred. Then you talk about Florida State and the number of players who sat out or had gotten to the portal or declared for the draft. You go from crying about not being in the college football playoffs to getting boat raced by Georgia because your team doesn't show up. I mean, you can't have it both ways. Like, if you want to put your best foot out there, you got to step up and compete. And so there's been a lot of talk about, well, maybe you don't open the transfer portal as early, but then again, you've got spring semester and guys got to get to their new campuses. So there's no right, unless you just close the portal altogether, there's no right answer. So,
my rotten son and I had we yelled at each other about Penix, Michael Penix. He thinks he'll be a terrible Penix.
Penix.
I'll pronounce it how
let's get this one right.
Penix. Anyway, he thinks he'll be a terrible pro because he has no touch on the ball and he only throws it one speed, which is like, a bullet. And I'm like, the guy is so accurate. He's going to be a great pro. And then we went back and forth. And yeah.
Fred, I had to Google what that was. And now that I did, I wish I didn't.
What?
He says, Fred says our former head coach liked to do motorboat races at Spearmint Rhino.
Didn't you see what you did? Now everybody has to look that up.
Okay, no, we don't need to Google this, guys.
It's fine.
Moving on.
All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Fred, serious question. Will the defense be equal to this past season or take a step back due to a few losses and people knowing what we do now?
No.
I think it's a lot. It's a lot easier to adjust to offenses than to defenses. And I think, we talk about Ty Robinson's coming back, Polar Bear's coming back. You've got Cam Lenhart, you've got P. Will, all up front. You have a linebacker core that, yes, you're losing some, veteran presence at linebacker. But I do feel that there's going to be some young guys stepping up. And then the secondary, I really like what that secondary has been doing. Omar Brown's going to be gone, but you still have Marquise Buford. You're going to have his brother. I just like what that defense is going to do, and I have a lot of faith in Tony White.
Yes. Speaking of all that excitement, I'm just wondering, John, you normally try to go to at least one game, right?
Yeah.
Well, I already have it marked on my calendar.
Okay.
To go to the Colorado game.
Right.
Definitely going to that. I try to go to the homecoming game also, but do you guys know which games you're going to try and make it to?
Possibly because of Connor, Colorado.
Colorado?
Yeah, I don't know. That's so far away.
That'll be a good game. Oh,
yeah.
But just him talking about these guys returning on our defensive line, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. I'm already making plans.
I think the defense will take maybe a step back in terms of yards, maybe statistically, because we're going to probably be playing better offense as the Pac-12 teams come into the Big Ten next year.
Yeah.
But, the other thing to keep in mind is they know what we do. Well, they don't know what we do because now you have players that have more experience and you probably can implement more of a defensive scheme or more wrinkles in that defensive scheme than you were just in their first year. So, that's the importance of having continuation in your coaching staff is players know what they did last year, and then you can teach them more as what you want to do from them or what you can expect from them as time goes on. So, who knows?
Fred says that John's going to the Colorado game and going to steal the last of Deion's toes like a thief in the night. I wonder if they just snap off like Legos.
Oh, my God.
Sorry, that was inappropriate. Josh says that now this is before I gave him the timeout that I thought could be reversed in like 30 seconds. But Josh says that I'm going to the Colorado game with him. And I think maybe Haas and Mrs. Friend of the show. So
we're all going. That's the plan.
We're going. If we can all get everybody, their tickets will probably be $83,000 a piece.
Oh.
All right. I don't need this house. All right. Let's do that. Speaking of
look at this shot. Look at this shot. We'll have more wrinkles than John, says Brett Colessad. This guy's isn't he new? He's just getting into it. He's already getting into it.
He's fine.
Okay.
He it doesn't take long to fall into a rhythm, John. All right. I get too many haircuts. Minnie has the best hair, and you're old. That's
wow.
As soon as people understand the dynamic,
you know what? What people don't know is that I'm only 35. I just did a lot of meth in my 20s.
Don't you have a child who's like 28?
30 now.
Oh God. I don't want to tell you how old I am, then they'll make you feel real old. You're old enough to be.
Don't say it.
Okay.
Oh God!
Oh my God! Did you just say that? Did you say that? I think you said.
Yes, he did.
I mean, you're not because
Wow.
Never mind. All right, moving on. Speaking of that Colorado game, we got
I'm going to be watching the Weather Channel all week now.
My dad watches like old black and white Western TV shows. I think one's called Laramie. Josh probably knows what I'm talking about. It like 3 to 5 in the afternoon. You're fine, but he drinks bourbon, so he's okay. All right, talk about that Colorado game. Joel says Colorado revenge game at Lincoln. We all agree.
Yeah.
Husker Nation 1 says, I hope we beat the insert here out of the nutcase that is Deion Sanders. And Joel says, how long before Deion Sanders leaves Colorado? I think if they have another 4-win season, whether it's his choice or not, he's not going to be there in 2025. That's my think. I don't know. Your take, Minnie?
When his favorite son goes to the NFL.
Yeah, which is probably after next year.
How do we all know who the favorite son is? He has 2 sons playing on the team.
It's Shedeur.
Yeah.
John, can you say that name?
Shittier.
Aaron says that the best Western show is Jonanza.
There you go.
Yep. Jonanza and his son Little Toe.
You know what I did last night, Greg?
Highlander Gun says that Prime's got 1 toe out the door. Sorry, go on.
I watched Rebel Moon.
I know you did, and you said it was very cheesy.
Oh God, it was so cheesy. I laid on the couch overdosing in cheese.
That's
visually, it was very, very good. The dialogue is like some guy from Star Wars said, I can write you worse dialogue than we had in Star Wars. And they went, you're on, buddy. And then they used it. So,
So it is my understanding, very briefly here, which is my famous last words, that because Zack Snyder was attached to a Star Wars movie. And after his Justice League movie bombed, they politely said, no, thanks. And so he said, okay, well, I'll just take my Star Wars movie, put a different name on it, and do it over here.
I think this is based on a book or something.
Maybe, I don't know.
It was a lot of stuff stolen from Star Wars, but I like sci-fi. I enjoy sci-fi. I never try to put too much expectations into it, except for, by God, put it this way. If you're going to do Dune, you better fucking do Dune right, because that's probably the best book ever written in sci-fi. So you don't screw with stuff like that. You don't fuck that up. If you want to do Rebel Moon or your Star Wars shit, just do whatever you want. It'll be fun. And I won't have very high expectations, but Dune, Star Trek, anything by Bradbury, you better be doing a damn good job.
Well, we're giving Aaron a little bit of everything tonight. He says, oh my God, now we get Star Wars talk too. Fred says Rebel Moon. Isn't that what Todd's calendar is called? And Mike Corrigan says John leans on his staff like Moses in his robe, and Charlton Heston says bondage.
Okay.
No. All right. Let's see here. Fred's going to hold me accountable to my defense prediction. As I said, we're going to be as good. If not, it's a soap party. I just wanted to highlight that. All right, everybody, Minnie, especially I guess for you, you can answer on behalf of the Chatterfields here.
Yes.
How old is John? Or wait, no, let me see. John's so old
that he could be your.
No,
I don't want to say it because it's not coming out of my mouth.
I say John's so old. How old is he? John's so old. Just say, how old is he?
Okay. How old is he?
According to Josh, John wasn't wrinkly when he banged that guy's mom after Gettysburg.
hell?
John, you should be used to this. We used to do.
That's true. That's true. But
Hoss and I used to do this
can't
every
believe
week. It's just not
you
with a
did.
live audience.
I can't believe you just it still goes on.
And
people still tolerate it.
It's so fun, so joyful. All right, serious question here, and I don't have to say this because it's a Fred comment, but Nathan Johnson asked us an hour plus ago. What do you think is the max wins we can get next season?
10.
I think statistically it's like 17, right?
Oh my God,
16?
I don't know.
16. 12 bowl game.
13?
Or I mean 12 conference championships, so that's 13, and then in the playoffs. I guess maybe 16 or 17.
I think you're adding a couple games.
That's fine. All the games.
Okay, the most 17. Why not?
John, do you have a
where
you think?
I said 10.
Okay, sorry.
I really got to look at the schedule again.
Let's see here. Fred says John's so old he could be the cop that nabbed you for stealing a Nintendo cartridge at Montgomery Ward.
You know,
they didn't have
daughter,
Nintendo then.
My daughter every year for Christmas buys me Asian confections.
Really?
Candy.
Aww.
And I
are.
opened this up and she says, this is Japanese, I believe. And I open it up, I open up the package that has the stuff in it. Normally it's Korean stuff, but she goes, I have no idea what this is, but it's good. So there you go. I thought I'd open it, except that it's a cloth. It's a cloth bag.
Did you bring enough for the whole class?
No, I don't. I'm not a good sharer.
Aaron asks if it's a Tominaga toffee. That's pretty good. Nothing on that one. Okay.
No, keep on going because
Melissa says the most games we can win is 14. Although you got to remember, Josh says don't forget the spring game.
That's true. That's only wait. Before, let's not move on that quickly.
I'm sorry.
Because it's just right around the corner. Okay. February, March, April. 3 months away. That's it.
Oh, I thought you were counting all the games because I was going to say we can't forget the spring game or the off season, which is really a game in itself. There's a lot of moving parts.
This game. We are definitely winning this game. So far, we're 1-0.
Brett wants to know, John was the confection made in 1924, but we'll never know because John
just keeps leaving. He just bye.
Let's see. We somehow, Minnie, where are you at on Star Wars? Are you a Star Wars fan?
Okay, I just feel like I disagree with you guys every time the questions start coming towards me. I hate to say it, I'm not a sci-fi lover.
That's okay.
Sorry.
Not everybody's into every genre. Everybody has their thing.
It's kind of a turnoff. Yeah. But there's other things that are fun to watch. I actually love war movies. What? He wonders.
Highlander Gun says John so old he wanders off. Oh my God, that's kind of true. You like war movies?
I do. I love war movies.
Yeah, I agree with that. Kind of like Young Guns. It's a war movie.
Yeah, well, I like westerns too.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think they said. She didn't say horror, right? You said war.
War.
Yeah, war.
Horror. Ugh. No, I'm not a horror movie watcher either. Sorry.
No, Aaron, I don't believe Minnie would like all the Star Wars Legos that are surrounding you.
I'd be impressed though.
All right, John, are you ever going to get the bag of confection open?
Yeah.
Is it Tominaga toffee?
It's not It's not Tominaga. It's like a little butter kind of a candy toffee thing. Ooh. That's kind of tasty. That's very large though. Okay, there you go. That was my unboxing thing for the night.
Okay.
By
Anything
the way,
else?
Monica,
Okay,
Monica
I'm so
said
sorry.
that you guys were shocked that I had a positive T-shirt that says Saturdays are for hope
So
and
for-
resilience.
I wasn't shocked.
She said you were shocked and amazed.
I was amazed.
Okay.
I don't know about shocked.
Yeah.
I'm
You
still
thought
waiting.
you could do better.
I
The
didn't.
positivity is not your thing.
It is. It is. I'm
Okay.
positively. I'm positive. It's just,
I
things
kind of feel
happened
like
over the
it's
past.
mine and Greg's thing. The positive.
Is that what it is? I'm just
Yes.
relegated to crusty old man forever.
Well, you do have your name set as John the Grump, so
Well, son of a bitch. That's how I started out.
I don't know where I was gonna go. I feel like we got a lot of off season. We can get into war movies and other things like that
Oh, yeah.
down the road. John the Happy all the time. Okay. I'll have to go back because I know I just watched a war movie recently. I can't remember what it was. That's not a reflection on the movie. That's a reflection on my memory.
Yeah.
So I'll try to have that prepared for next week. But
Okay.
unless I don't have anything else, and this thing's gone over an hour and a half,
It's gone a long time.
Oh,
and
has
I
it?
have a long day
Okay.
tomorrow. So
Okay.
I want to end the show. Can we do that, kids?
We can.
Absolutely can.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
I get to work on cybersecurity stuff tomorrow. That would be fun.
I get to
Anyway.
Put this audio together now. So
Well, there's one thing before we say goodnight. The Husker prayer. One little thing.
okay.
Dear
It's just
Lord, the battles we go through life, we ask for a chance that's fair, a chance to equal our stride, a chance to do or dare. If we should win, let it be by the code. Faith and honor held high. If we should lose, we'll stand by the road and cheer as the winners go by. Day by day, we get better and better till we can't be beat, won't be beat.
There you go. All right. Wait a minute. MK says Star Wars is a war movie. It's got war in the name. There you go.
Okay. There you go.
Josh wants to know. Nope. Josh wants to know when the 16-hour live show will be.
Oh my God. Well, that'd be interesting.
I'm gonna need more coffee. A lot more coffee. All right. That'll do it for this episode of the Five Heart Podcast. We appreciate all of you who join us each and every week. Or if this is your first time, thanks for stopping by. We'll be back next week, either Wednesday or Thursday. I don't know. It varies from time to time. Usually 9 o'clock Central. It is God's preferred time zone. So thank you. We know you have a lot of entertainment options, and we do appreciate you spending your time here with us. Make sure that your tray tables are locked and your seat backs are in the upright position. So for our founder and our fearless leader, Mr. John Dam Johnston, this guy over here. For Minnie, who's joining us from one of the Sunshine States, that's as specific as she wants us to be. I'm Greg Mahochko. This is the Five Heart Podcast, and we remind you each and every week that Five Heart is all the heart you need. I gotta make sure I do this the right way. John?
Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
Wow, that was much better than mine.
Good night. Godspeed.
Good night.
And go Big Red.